When the bells all ring and the horns all blow and the couples that we know are fondly kissing, will I be with you or will I be among the missing? Maybe it's much too early in the game. Oh, but I thought I'd ask you just the same. What are you doing New Year's Eve? I wonder whose arms will hold you good and tight when it's exactly 12 o'clock midnight, welcoming in the New Year's Eve. Oh, maybe I'm crazy to suppose that I'd ever be the one you chose out of the thousand invitations you received. Oh, but in case I stand one little chance, here comes the jackpot question in advance. What are you doing New Year's Eve? Oh, maybe I'm crazy to suppose that I'd ever be the one that you chose out of the thousand invitations you received. Oh, but in case I stand one little chance, here comes the jackpot question in advance. What are you doing New Year's Eve?
Well, hello, Sonder family. Everybody's going, Burr, welcome, welcome. I hope you are sitting somewhere nice and cozy. Maybe you've got a warm beverage. I have some raspberry tea here. It's pretty chilly in Texas. We were setting record highs just, a day ago, and it's pretty chilly now. We're down in the 30s. Oh, and still drinking your iced tea. Pam, that's great. I've got some allergies or a cold, something's going on, so I've been just sipping on the hot stuff today. My name's Jennifer Ogilvy, and I'll be your on-camera facilitator this evening as we set up for January, if you can believe that. And you have Team Jennifer on the call joining me. My co-facilitator tonight is Jennifer Krippner, who is below zero in Minnesota. And she said, it is so chilly. Last night she texted me, my husband's a weather bug, and oftentimes we'll see weather up there. He's on all these different things, and he'll say, check on Jennifer and see if, XYZ. And so she sent me a text last night. Are y'all watching the weather? So it was so cold up there. Y'all had some blizzard stuff. But really glad to be reunited with the Sonder family to stay warm and stay cozy and be accountable to ourselves and one another by keeping this appointment with yourself. Lots of familiar folks in the chat. Welcome to all of you returning. You may actually be getting this particular social via our YouTube channel after we've done this. And so if you're joining us via YouTube, we welcome you. We're sorry you couldn't be there for the live event and participate with our Sonder family, but we're glad that you're taking time and to keep that commitment to your journal by going to the YouTube channel. Is there anybody who is joining us for the first time? Maybe for the holidays, you were given the gift of Silk and Sonder, or you gave yourself the gift of Silk and Sonder and you thought, I'm going to come check out what this community is and what this journal is. Okay, we've got some first timers. Well, we're going to give y'all a really big welcome. Jessica, Laurel, we're really glad you're here. These monthly setups happen at the very end of the month that will help us set up for the beginning. And then we also have weekly setup socials that where we sit and do those weekly spreads and we set up our goals and our to-dos and the habits that we want for the week. So I love that you guys gifted yourself because that's what Silk and Sonder is all about, is taking care of taking the best care of you so that you can be the best version of yourself for everybody else in your life. So, welcome, newbies. Make sure that chat is set to everyone because we'll be communicating and supporting each other via the chat. And you may notice that if you got here a little bit late, I was showing a slide. If you will look on the very back of your journal in the upper left hand corner, that back cover, you will see that it says Edition 100. This is a very special edition, and I think it's so cool that we are all going to be able to benefit from this little Sonderversary. Some of you have been with Silk and Sonder since the very beginning. I think I'm coming up on my fifth year of being a Silk and Sonder family member. But I had asked in the chat, drop in the chat if you had an addition that really, or a theme that really spoke to you and shifted your mindset, or maybe a couple of them. Share that in the chat. I love celebrating all of our journeys as we have used this tool to be the best version of ourselves. I said enchantment was so much fun, wasn't it, Carla? I love that. And yeah, 2025's themes really seem to kind of just build and flow and set the pace for everything else. Resilience was great, spontaneity. I have shared many times, if you've been with me, indulgence was a mind shift for me. I had always operated kind of out of scarcity, something, that was ingrained from childhood. And I never felt like I really deserved to indulge much. And that was a really, really good one for me. So I love how we're all sharing and how it's all different. We never know how things are going to hit. So thank you for sharing. And oh, Pam, it really is difficult to pick like one theme because and sometimes, like, I always think, like, we could do the same 12 themes in 2026 as we did in 2025. And because our story changes all the time and is unfolding, they would hit differently, right? They all just kind of hit you. Anyway, it's so good. It's so good. I love these themes. It's one of the pieces of magic in this Silk and Sonder journey. All righty. Well, thank you for sharing that and pat yourself on the back for being part of the 100th edition. When we gather together, pardon me, we share these community guidelines. So if you are new here, you'll see this every time we gather because we do create very safe spaces for ourselves and for one another. Jennifer Krippner's in the chat supporting along the way, and she'll be taking care of the chat. We do say, let's limit some of the product questions and that kind of thing. But if you're curious about stuff or you want to know how folks are using something, feel free to ask that question in the chat. Anytime you have any problems or concerns or questions for headquarters, their email is hello@silkandsounder.com and they can check your account. Jennifer and I don't work directly for headquarters, so we can't help you out as far as your accounts are concerned, but they have a great customer care department. And then finally, remember that this social, these times together are tools to support our emotional health through the power of community. I know y'all all know this community, mwah, just something so special about it. But always be responsible for your wellness. And so if things ever feel a little tough, give yourself permission to just sit back, listen, go find something else. But yeah, y'all are talking about Mayha's letter. It's a good one this month. I always invite you to, take a look at that because it kind of tells you what she was thinking when we went with whatever theme it is. I do want to call out really quickly. We've got an exclusive coming up in a couple of weeks. It's going to be January, I think that's the 15th. And what's so cool about this is that it's like that mid-month. It's like by then we should kind of be decompressed back in a rhythm and routine, and we'll be ready to embrace a new year, a real you, your 2026 glow up. And that will be led by our founder, Mayha. So be sure to sign up for that. There is a nominal fee for the exclusives, and Jennifer shared the link to be able to sign up for that directly in the chat there, so you can go do that. And then our new theme of alignment. And we love our good graphics. And I was working with Maya a couple of times this past weekend, and we were just talking about like in your Instagram feeds and that kind of go find good content because the algorithm will then make this magic start happening for you. And one of the magical things that I ended up being led to was the account called Divine Colors, and just lots of positive, happy things. And I love this. The energy for 2026 is, and I thought this felt so right for alignment, only doing what feels genuinely right in your intuition and letting go of everything else. And I was like, there's my graphic for the month. So you'll be seeing that from me for a bit. And then speaking of that beautiful letter, I always encourage you to read. I said it's like a love letter from Meha telling you about your new journal. Um, some things that stood out to me when she's talking about alignment. Alignment is giving yourself permission to pause, to breathe, to again come back to our authentic selves. It's never about having it all figured out because we know life will take care of that, right? And then it just begins with awareness. And so that's kind of what this journal will help us do, be aware of what we'd like to embrace for our life, putting some power onto the paper as we set goals and habits and, work journal prompts and just get to know ourselves a little bit better. I thought this was so beautiful. We will open the book. Y'all all have it. We've got it with us. Its pages are blank. We're going to put words on them ourselves. This book is called Opportunity, and its first chapter is New Year's Day. So, this is your journey, your book, your words, your story. And we're just all so glad that we can share it with one another. So I'd like to invite you this evening to turn to page 3. That's our yearly reflections page. And I wanted to make sure that we carved out time to just at least start this page. I'm working on mine. I have like a little post-it note list going for some of these areas. So I've started it, but I wanted to give you that space to do that. I love the look back over our year, Brene Brown, in one of her books, I can't remember which one. I love them all. She said, one day you will tell your own story of how you overcame what you went through, and it will be someone else's survival guide. And I think that is so cool that the universe, things happen to us, we survive, we get through it, and we can be a blessing to others when we have that in under our belt. And then also the reminder, be kind to the past versions of you. They are the soil in which you now bloom. So as you're looking back at your year, maybe you didn't get some of the things done that you thought you would do, but I want to encourage you to really focus on the things that brought you joy and that you are so proud of from this year. And it can be small, like I brushed my teeth every single morning this year. It could be huge. Maybe you got that big promotion that you were hoping for, or you took a big leap of faith. So, some tips are go back and look at your past journals, your camera roll on your phone, look at your calendar, and then a reminder that you can change any of these categories. And I have a couple suggestions for you for that. So, our page 3 says we're going to look at things I achieved, the people I met, places I went, and books I read. I've got a couple of examples to show you. My yearly reflection from last year is there on the upper left. And like I said, I'm working on current. But I'm real excited. I get to write a 52, maybe a 53 for my books that I read. But instead of people I met, I changed that space to read completed projects. I am retired and I really like to dive into doing a lot of hobbies, crafts, quilts, that kind of thing. So I use that for my completed project space. The one right next door to me used that space for happy things, just the happy things of 2026. Or if that was from last year, I can't remember. But just like, what were your high points? The one all the way over on the right, instead of people they met, they're thinking about the things that they learned. Maybe there were some lessons that came your way. And I love this. Instead of places I went, this is a music bug. Concerts I went to. And I love that. If you're a concert going. Oh, Corey, thank you. I love that. That you shared yours. So thank you. Music you found. Maybe it's recipes. You decided this year you were going to really dive into your nutrition and your health. Perhaps this is something about your exercising. So we're going to spend just a little bit of time reflecting. I hope this will get you going on this page. I don't think by any means you're going to finish it, but I wanted to hold space for this because we need to celebrate where we're sitting right now with this year behind us. And then we'll get on with our setup. I really appreciate the support that I'm seeing in the chat, that you're giving to one another as you look over your past year. You've started this time of reflection. Remember that these categories can be anything, and maybe you just write across your page, I've showed up, and celebrate that amidst the very, very hard stuff that life might have brought your way this past year. You're here today. And so that's worth celebrating. Also, Melody talked about her word of the year. Maybe you think if you had a word of the year, how did you show up with that word of the year? How did that keep you going? So lots of ways to frame this out. And again, I hope we've just gotten a little start here, and you can work on this over the next couple of days. I imagine we are quiet New Year's Eve people, so I will probably sit with mine on New Year's Eve and sort of do a really deep look back, get my post-it notes off the post-it notes, get it written into the space. So thank you for doing that. Now let's get on with our set up for the evening. So we're going to take a few moments to look at getting our brains going with this idea of alignment through our monthly acrostic poem, as well as some addendum opportunities for an opening activity. You get to kind of pick what works for you. We'll take time to look back over the month of December with our reflections page, set our January intentions, and then spend some time with that mood and habit tracker. I love this graphic because is this not this is those that week of weird days like we're not sure where we are, we're that end of the year kind of thing. And so if you're also feeling confused, full of cheese and unsure of the day of the week, you're in good company. So we'll just sort of like I'm kind of writing off this week, and I'm waiting for the first. So let's take a look at our opening activity. We're going to free associate 9 words or phrases for our theme of alignment. And then we'll just create an acrostic poem using that word, drawing upon your list. And you can do sentences, you can do one word, a set of words. I know some of you will go to our personal coach and ask Jenny, given what you know about me, what would be a good acrostic poem? Some of you use other AI engines, or you just get creative. We've got some great examples here from our Sonder family members. This can be done anywhere in your journal. We don't have an acrostic poem page this month, so you'll want to find a blank page. If you notice on the very first page, page 1, in that bottom right-hand corner where the notes are, alignment actually fits there, and you could just do your acrostic on page 1. The two in the middle there were done on page 1. Some of you have an extra journal, a sidekick journal that you put some of these special activities in, so you could do that. But this is not in your journal. Usually, about once a quarter, we'll have an acrostic page that's actually printed. Now, you could also, if alignment's not quite hitting for you yet, you could do one for January. We've got a couple of examples there. You could also take a synonym of alignment that may speak to you. And I've got a list over there. I said, like, alignment makes me think of my car tires. So I've got some work to do this month to see how it fits into aligning myself. Um, and someone actually, it was their birthday month, and they had shared this in Sonder Club. So maybe if you are having a special something this month, a birthday, an anniversary, maybe your acrostic embraces that special time, that special thing that's going on in your life. And if acrostic poem just isn't your jam, Sit and write a little note to the month of December saying goodbye and thanking it for what it brought you, tough times and good times. And then a little hello note, a little greeting note to January, or you could even do a goodbye to 2025 and a hello to 2026. You could just make a word cloud for the month, using the month, using alignment, adding those synonyms, thinking about what alignment means to you. Normally, that page 3 where we had our yearly reflection, normally that's our definition page, and we have a space to work on our own personal definition of the theme. So maybe you find a space in your journal and you think about what alignment looks like for you. I think it's always fun to do that at the front end of the month and then go back at the end of the month and see, how that's still resonating. Or if you are a poetress, you could write a haiku using the theme of alignment. So several different directions to get your brain going with our opening tonight. So I'll put on some music while you work on this, and feel free to share, drop in the chat your acrostic that will inspire other folks. Or maybe the alternate activity that you are choosing to do to start your journey with our new theme. Okay, I know that was a very quick moment, and you may just be getting into the flow, but because we did that yearly reflection, I want to make sure to honor your time and make sure that we get through all of these pages. So I do want to remind you that we are recording this, and chances are it will be posted like sometime this evening after we're finished so you could go back and take a look. And I'm going to be doing the same monthly setup tomorrow evening, and we'd love to see you again. If there's anything that you want to take another look at. So let's now start by looking at that reflection page. And that's going to be on your page 8, where we will look at the wins from the month, the challenges from the month, as well as our favorite moments. And then at the very bottom of that page, this is one of my compasses personally that I use to kind of guide my intentions as well as my goals and to-dos for the month. That start, stop, and continue space. Normally, I like to break this page up, but again, I want to make sure that we are valuing your time tonight and we can get all of our content in. So the reflection page allows us to look at the things that we did that made us smile, made us happy, all those accomplishments. It might have just been I survived December as your win, and the challenges are maybe those things that didn't go as well as you like. Man, I know lots of folks have gotten sick, and you weren't ready for that with the busyness of what December means. Maybe there were some things out of your control, but that just really, kept you from feeling your best self. A stumbling block of frustration. We're going to just put that on paper and hopefully leave it behind. We always say, go look at your rosebud and thorn reflections from each one of our weeks if you were able to work on those. And that can really help inform your high points, those wins and those challenges. And then, of course, your favorite moments. And with all the holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, there hopefully are some favorite moments that you can find. It could be that they are over and you got to go to bed and get some sleep. But pull up your phone, take a look at your calendar, take a look at your photos when you do that. Additionally, that bottom part of the page, y'all, again, I think this is so important. What are the things that you want to start doing? And this time of year, it can feel so big, right? That January restart where everybody new me, and I'm really trying to embrace. No, it's the same me. I'm continuing forward, but what are the things I want to start to take better care of myself? What are the things I need to stop doing because they're not helping me be the best version of who I want to be? And what I want to continue and I doing, I am doing some things right. So I think this section can be so helpful for the entire rest of setting up throughout the month when we are intentional with those start, stop, and continue spaces. Now, before we get going on that, if you were with us for the month of December, I'm going to invite you to go back and look at your weekly mind map answers. I think that those particular questions from all 4 weeks can really help you align yourself with the things that you want to start and stop and continue. So that invitation to go look at the responses that you put down. Like week 4 was, what is that thing we wanted to leave behind? How can that inform your stop section of the bottom of that page? And then we've got some examples from Sonder family of how they did that. So I'm going to put on some music while you revisit your month and you reflect upon December, and then we'll go on to the rest of our setup. I love how you guys all support one another, and you show up as your authentic self, whether you've got some really hard things going on. That was, we saw some things in the chat. Just know that you're Silk and Sonder people. We're virtual, but I believe in the power of community, and definitely you shine through in this community. So thank you, um, Sonder folks, for just, providing that support for one another. I'm sure you're still kind of working on this page, but again, because I want to make sure we're being vigilant with our time, continue to work. But I'm also going to go ahead and we're going to start talking about our intentions and what we want to set for this very first month of 2026. You'll find your intentions page on page 9. And this is that sort of again, another little compass point as we sort of think about what we want this month to bring our way. Here's that little quote I was referring to: New year, new me, and new me is drawn through. It's new year, same me, but I'm gonna love her better than ever. So, we don't have to reinvent all the things just because we see that we're January and we celebrate, New Year's Eve. We're going to just continue on working on ourselves and being gentle and taking what we need. We have 6 categories on this page: spiritual health, personal life, physical health, key relationships, money management, and professional goals. And you are invited to use those intention topics if they fit in your life. But you are also invited to change anything that doesn't really resonate with you. Um, I am retired, so I don't really do professional goals, but I sort of do learning goals every month. Some of those things are ways that can help me grow as a facilitator. But I don't have that same quite professional life, eight to five job. So I changed that professional up to learning goals every month, just to make it work better in my life. So I'm going to show you lots of examples here, and we'll talk about a few, and then I'll give you time to work on your intentions page. I think that, and I'm going to fess up, I've said this before. When I first started working in my journal, I would set intentions for the month, and then I'd like not go back to page 9 and use these to guide the rest of the month. So I want to encourage you to put a paper clip on this page or a little post-it note or something that will help you remember to take a look at these intentions from time to time. Maybe schedule in, Wednesday is your intention day, and you go back and check in with these and see if they're still aligning with what you wanted to do for the month. So some stuff, and oh, also there's like that example with the post-it notes. Maybe you just start scribbling some things down, but you're not quite ready to commit to paper. So use those post-it notes. Yeah, I mean, it's such a great page, and it can really be, our compass and help us through the map of January if we remind ourselves to go back and look at that. Now, it is National Blood Donor Month. It is Self-Love Month. It is Dry January month. And it is Mental Wellness Month. So those are kind of the, you know, um, overriding things that you might see. So perhaps one of those things will speak to you, and you might put that somewhere in your journal, or I'm sorry, in your intentions. But I also, you guys have made so many different repurposed spaces. So I have a list here that is not all exhaustive, but maybe you need, instead of money management, you need home management or home life, a mental health space, adventure, a learning space, creativity. So many of you are very creative people, and you want to be intentional with carving out that space in your life each month. And so you create a creativity intention, connection to maybe others. Maybe that could be part of your key relationships, turns to connection, so that there's a little more actionable item with that. Your personal self care, maybe a seasonal or holiday intention. Your brain health is maybe could replace one of these spots. Maybe you're not going to do spiritual health, but you're going to do things that keep your brain, making all those connections. Outside or garden. I always say one of these becomes my garden space because I'm a big gardener when the weather is agreeable. Perhaps your word of the year. Maybe you create a space every month in one of these spots. You sub it out and you take that word of the year that you have settled on and you create an intention around your word of the year. What does your word of the year look like? My word of the year is vitality. And, it might look different in January than it does in June, because I'm trying to embrace my health journey, overall health journey. So perhaps you dedicate one of these spaces to your word of the year each month. Or maybe it's like your schedule or your plan ahead. So each month, your intention is to create some things to look forward to, some dreams. So just some suggestions there for y'all. You can use alignment this month for setting those intentions. Focus on one area. Some people like to use a name of a song or lyrics as that intention. Think about how you want to feel. You could throw some stickers here, do a little sketch that depicts that. I've got some fun examples because y'all are amazing. So I'll share those. But also things that you want to let go of or to start doing. Go back and look at that start, stop, and continue box. And maybe those show up somewhere here. There's not a right way or a wrong way. I tend to be very simple. I just write a couple of words, but you can see how someone took all the stickers to inform their spaces up there in the upper left, which I love. We always say stickers. Maya says stickers need to fulfill their destiny. Stickers want to be stuck. I also really love when I see you guys do duality. So in these spaces, you think about what you want more of and less of, or what you embrace and what you will release, what you choose, what you release, what you start and what you stop, what you let go of, what you lean into. So that duality really creates this balance, this alignment. It works beautifully with our theme this month when you've got that duality going. So you can see the middle example and the bottom left are both set up for that duality. You can use the monthly theme. So I have an example there when the theme was connect and how someone set that up. So maybe you do something with, I will align, and you do that for each one of these spaces. Again, you can set these spaces up. They don't have to be those topics. They can be, whatever works in your world. The duality there on the bottom left, you can see that they are not doing spiritual health, they're doing mental health. So they've replaced that to work for them. And then anytime you write an affirmation, that's a really great way to frame that out. So, those I statements that really give you the power in your life. How I find alignment. I like that, Pam. That's a really great way to embrace that. Here's some examples of quotes and then the more of and less of with those arrows. Then you can see the one over there on the right has been changed up. So we've got, instead of personal life, it's creative growth with all these really neat quotes that are going to help them align with that. Here we've got alignment January intentions there on the left. And you can see they sort of just, their intention, they've just got these six or these five intentions. Also, a reminder that you don't have to do six. You can do four. You can focus on three big ones and leave a space for reflection. Leave empty boxes and do reflection. Do use that as a check-in space. This person said, make today worthy. They put that sticker there. I think, Kimberly, this one might be yours that says, I value And so I will prioritize, by, and with. So, like this very focused affirmation statement, basically. I value my relationship with God, so I will prioritize moments of reflection and surrender by attending weekly mass with an open heart. So that is a very strong affirmation. So that's a great way to frame that out. You kind of fill in those blanks. Yeah, I like filling the blanks in too. And then you can also just get collagey and creative with pictures. And I love the the home management there. Organize your hot mess. Like lots of us are probably going to be working on that. We've got incorporating some doodles, some art. Look at the penguins. I mean, come on, y'all. Doodling is so good for your brain. So, they've changed physical health to creativity. They have done finances instead of money management, but very, very, very cute, cute, cute. And the little penguins are telling the person what they need. So I love that. It's just a joyful page. The one all the way over there on the right, every intention again is changed up to fit what works for them. And the one in the middle is song titles. So that's amazing. If you've had a favorite album, I know many of you love Taylor Swift. Maybe some of those song lyrics and titles show up for your intentions. So let's work on this and share with everybody like what's going on, what you're thinking, what we're going to be looking at. All righty, and then we'll get going with the rest of our setup. Okay, I hope that you were able to jot down some ideas for your intentions as we start looking ahead into this month and what you want to, like, when we're sitting here in another month from now, you can look at those intentions, go, I did that. I was able to incorporate these ideas into all the goals and my habits and the things that I wanted to do for myself. We do love those penguins, and I want to challenge everybody. We do have some very artistic Sonder family members, but I want to challenge you to maybe incorporate some doodling into your journal, into your life in little ways. It's really, really, really good for your brain. It'll help your brain kind of calm itself down. You get a good, happy dopamine hit when you do that instead of the like scrolling addictive dopamine hits. Serotonin is flowing. You settle your cortisol. Drawing is so good for you. And we won't get better unless we give it a try and practice. So I'm going to encourage y'all to do that. Maybe that can be one of your 2026 things to do. And then when you do your yearly reflection, you're like, I know how to doodle a penguin. It took me 12 months, but I learned how to do a penguin. All righty. So now it's time to set up those two trackers that are in our journal. So we're going to start with our mood tracker, and you will find your mood tracker on page 10. And we track moods because it helps us see those trends in our lives. So we'll talk a little bit about ways you can really make this tracker work for you so that you're able to see it. Now, we have two types of trackers. This month is the hexagon. We also have a mood tracker that is a circle. So it depends on the number of days that are in the month. Like 30 months that have 30 days will have that circle tracker. And well, some I have seen our mood tracker like, have that odd day. Anyway with on the hexagon, but everybody loves what they love, right? And some people don't care their team hex a circle. But we're just grateful to have this tracker in our life. Um, so you can use this as a mood tracker. Many of you also repurpose this tracker into tracking other things in your life. So I have examples of both to share with you tonight. And if you see anything that resonates with you, grab that screenshot. The suggestion is to maybe look at two or three negative feelings, a neutral feeling, and two or three positive feelings, and then track those. We do have a feelings wheel. I'm going to show you a copy of that. You can pull your feelings from that. But like if you're feeling angry a lot, then you're going to want to track things that, anger. I will tell you a great tip that I know several of you do is you repurpose another tracker here and you pair it with your mood tracker. So you use your mood tracker for moods, but maybe you don't use your sleep tracker because it's all data on your smart device. And so you use your sleep tracker to pair with your mood tracker. So when you're checking in, you're putting down your moods, you'll go to the sleep tracker and then you might explain maybe what's going on with that mood. So if it's a day where you're feeling sad, you can pair that by filling out a line about, on that sleep tracker, maybe why those sad feelings are coming. And that will help you start noticing those trends when you take it that one, that next step. So that's just a suggestion. Here are all the words in this wheel. If you are new to tracking moods, we suggest the big six that you see on the outside of the circle, which is also the interior of the circle. And then as you go out, you can grab that. No, Debbie, your mood tracker is actually a page of hexagons. But this little feelings wheel are where we can grab those words to maybe fill in at the top of the moods we want to track. So here's some examples for this month. that folks are going to track their. You can use stickers, you can use colors, markers, just whatever check-in works for you. I really thought this was kind of a neat way to think about the mood that you're in by looking at if your day was a movie. If it's a day of laughter, yeah, yeah, that would be great, Karen, if the feelings wheel was a added in the thing. You can actually, I bet Jennifer Krippner can find this for us. There is a blog on the Silk and Saunders site about our mood tracker setup, and it has that feelings wheel. There she is. She's got it. She's dropping in the chat. Save that, and then you can go pull up that feelings wheel. But I love the idea. I thought that was kind of fun. If my day was a movie, so kind of tracking your moods by how you're feeling, it just makes it a little more fun. Like I don't know why I was feeling like I was feeling. It's a mystery. Some folks will do like an AM PM check-in, so they're dividing a line there. Again, you're going to see the examples of the round as well as the hexagon. Here's some more broken down into, the one up at the top is very detailed, really, really paying attention to how they're feeling and thinking about, is my glass balanced? Is it aligned? Is it half full, half empty? And kind of following through. They've given some descriptors about that to really dig in and get specific. You can track emotions and energy. So kind of are you manic, balanced, depressed? And also highlight around their color coding as where their energy level was. And because, maybe that your energy level can really affect your mood. And then again, not an all exhaustive list, but here's some other ideas for using this page if you're like, you're not going to do the mood. There's a lot of folks who are like, I have so many moods, it's not even worth tracking because I'm all over the place. And then I kind of laughingly say, once I got through menopause, I was pretty, I don't have to track moods like I probably should have years ago. So you might want to repurpose. So here are some ideas for repurposing. We'll take a look at this and then I'll put on some music while you work on this your tracker here. But here's what an exercise tracker can look like. Book tracker, I usually use mine as a book tracker. Last month I did it as a hobby tracker, and I just put, like, if I sewed, I put an S. If I quilted, I put a Q. If I painted, I put a P in each of the days and checked in there. So I just kind of tracked my creative endeavors. What health area did I focus on or have a win for the day? And y'all, this is the one I'm talking about. It's at the bottom there. And look, it's like it can be linked up with your intention page. So if, like, you do your intentions and then you forget to check in with them, maybe this can somehow be paired with that intention page and those different areas. Also great for a symptom tracker, like tracking blood glucose that you can see there. So lots of different ways to do that. So I'm going to go through all of these again while you're working on that. And then we will go on to our habit tracker. All right. I was gonna call out for if somebody's doing dry July, that tracker is a really great place to track like alcohol intake if that's something you're working toward. I had an example last month. I might bring that back in February. So now our final tracker is that habit tracker. One day Maya was talking about our habit and activities, and so the weekly one has those habit and activities. We call it habities. This tracker is the one that we want to do most of these things every single day in the month. And so we're going to encourage you to, if you're starting new habits, keep it simple. Don't put too many things on there that are brand new. We want to give ourselves some wins. And this is a really good time to go look at that start, stop, and continue space again. And maybe that can inform the habits that go here. We can, of course, use alignment. You might want to pick a theme. Maybe you're really working on being a calmer person. And so all the things that you might do to align yourself with calmness could go in this tracker. And remember, you don't have to fill in every single line. Um, we always like to show these two examples here, pardon me, because this person has drawn in this beautiful mandala and then they color it in and they get this gorgeous, pardon me, this gorgeous habit tracker at the end of the month. Some tips, maybe you'll highlight your weekends, like you see the example there on the right. Sometimes those weekends might look different than the weekdays, and that just helps you give yourself a little permission to have some grace if things don't happen the same every single day. I know there are many folks who just take the weekends off from this tracker. And then we have some other examples here. Pardon me. But you can see, I like this one on the right that I wanted to share with you because they're checking in with themselves and they're writing in the space, even if they missed that habit. So they're just kind of acknowledging. Remember, that's that reminder that it's just data when we see those habits. So I'm going to put on some music while you fill in your habit tracker. We'd love to know what you're going to be putting there this month. Inspire one another, and then we'll close out our time. Well, everyone, I just want to tell you how glad I am that you carved out a little time to join us and get ready for your new month and your new year. Same us. We're just carrying on, right? Thanks for joining Team Jennifer this evening. I'll be doing this one again tomorrow night. So If you wanted to come hang out with us, we'd love to have you come hang out with us and share. We'd also love to see your planner or a page or part of your setup in Sonder Club. Sharing is caring, and we get so much inspiration from one another when you do share. Also, that shout out to our personal coach. If you need more information on that, you can email concierge at silkandsonder.com. I know that we are going to have lots of, New Year. There's almost always a good deal going on. So always check your email first. And then another shout out for that New Year Real You Glow Up exclusive that's coming on the 15th. And then there is our playlist from tonight. I'll also drop my Spotify link in the chat as we say goodbye to one another. It's going to be a great month traveling through alignment with y'all. Hopefully, I will no longer think of my car tires after I do the work this month beside the Sonder community. Thanks again for joining Team Jennifer tonight, and we wish you well. If I don't see you again, Happy New Year and be safe.